Hello, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Dietrich, and today we have the privilege of test driving a 2025 Lexus ES350, and this car has been quite a surprise to me because, in all honesty, it's been a while since I've put some wheel time in with a Lexus ES. The last one that I really honestly drove probably would have been mid-2000s. And so what I expected out of this car was luxury, comfort, value as far as the luxury sedan class goes, trash to drive. And interestingly enough, what I've gotten is kind of the opposite. This car is comfortable. I would almost refrain from calling it luxurious. For 47 grand, we have a crap stereo. We have a screen, a touch screen, literally out of a base model Toyota Corolla. Not a whole lot of features to speak of as far as the luxury car class goes, but we have a naturally aspirated 3.5 liter V6 with 302 horsepower, and we have an 8-speed automatic transmission that is fantastic. And the chassis is pretty nice. The ride is smooth on this car, of course, it's a Lexus. But the handling is good. The chassis is relatively well controlled. The steering is numb, which pretty much all new cars, that's the case. But if we put it in sport mode right there, it does firm the steering up a little bit. It sharpens up the throttle response. And I mean, this is a car that is genuinely fun to drive. I have to call it how I see it. The luxury quotient's a little mid on this thing. It's cheaper than a 5 Series or an E-Class or whatever, but the V6 is the thing that makes it, man. If you're gonna buy an ES, don't worry about the hybrid, don't worry about the 250 4-banger. You want the 350, baby. I need about 350. And yeah, it's front-wheel drive and it's got torque steer, but that's okay, you know. The flaws in life make things interesting. Take my most recent ex-girlfriend as an example. This car is so cool. Who would have thunk an ES350 is really, really nice to drive? I'm shocked. I guess, you know, it's hard to keep up with every single model that's on the market, as many cars as I drive, both for my YouTube channel and my alter ego life. This is kind of a funny car because, you know, what does it compete against? Do people really compare this to an E-Class or a 5 Series or an A6? I feel like people compared the GS to those cars, but Lexus doesn't sell the GS anymore, at least in the United States. Do people compare this to an Acura TLX? Probably not, because people don't really buy Acura TLXs, but I guess if I had to identify its main competitor in the marketplace, it would be the TLX. And other than that, I don't, you know, some Infinity. Does anybody care about Infinities anymore? It seems like it's only a matter of time before this car goes away, just because that's what's going on with sedans. And the interesting thing is, this is a very historic model for Lexus, because when Lexus first debuted in the US market, it was the LS400 and the ES250. And of course, the LS400 became a legend, and rightfully so, probably. But the ES250 was right there next to it from day one as a gussied up version of a Camry. I often criticize Toyota's 4-cylinder engines. I actually reviewed a couple of weeks ago a base model Corolla, which is how I know this literally is the same screen. And the 4-cylinder in that thing, because it wasn't a hybrid, it's just sad. It's just unhappy. And it's funny that, in my opinion, they make such trash 4-cylinders and their V6s are so good. Because this engine is relatively quiet, which, as it should be. There's a motorcyclist passing illegally. Motorcyclists are not relatively quiet, they're relatively obnoxious. This V6 is relatively quiet, and when you do give it some revs, it just sounds great. Oh, go that way, go that way. Come on, boys, you wanted to pass everybody, now you're slowing me down in my Lexus. Oh, the ES350. It's a true driver's car. I don't know if I'll go that far, but it's way nicer to drive than I would have expected. The transmission in this car is amazing. It's super smooth. You never feel it shift. When it snaps off a fast shift, it feels like a DSG. Holy shit. Any speeds listed are in kilometers per hour. Oh, I got it a little out of shape there, but not by under braking. The chassis gets a little ill-composed. Oh, man. That was fun. This car is fun. It's legitimately fun to drive. I don't know what else to say. I don't know what else to say. I'm lost for words at the Lexus. Would I buy one of these? No. Maybe. If they had some kind of stupid cheap lease deal, I'd get one, but I'm just not Lexus material. I don't like the way the car looks overall on the outside. The level of equipment in here for the MSRP and it being a Lexus is not acceptable to me. The seat is comfortable. It did very well on my fuel economy test last night. It is a lot of fun to drive. I like that. The stereo sucks. I'd have to have the Mark Levinson sound. I'd have to have the bigger screen. And the problem is, you do all that, start loading up the options. This is like a 47.3 MSRP car right here. You know, pretty soon you're up into the mid 50s if you really get this thing nicely equipped. I mean, whether you're at 47,000 or 55,000, you have a lot of options as far as other cars. In that price class, I would choose something else. For something fun to drive, it might be an Integra Type S. It might be a Mustang GT. I don't like SUVs, so it wouldn't be an SUV because I don't typically drive them. And yeah, you could get better value for your money. But some people really love Lexuses, and I'm not going to say that I don't understand why. That engine sounds so nice, though. I wonder if you put like a sport exhaust on this thing. Like, could you put Flowmasters on the ES350? It's probably got some, it's dual exhaust. There's a pipe on each side, you know, coming out of the little muffler hole or bumper hole. Like they put the holes in the bumper and then you look in there and there's the pipes. I'm sure it's some kind of a 2-into-1 into 2 exhaust system underneath there. It's not any kind of almost true dual exhaust. If you put, there's probably multiple mufflers or resonators or whatever. If you took the resonators out, took the muffler out and put one Flowmaster 40, this thing would sound awesome. Oh, put a Flowmaster Super 10, you'd annoy the hell out of your neighbors. I don't know. Anyway, I'm probably gonna leave that there. This car's amazing to drive. I mean, amazing compared to what I expected, and a lot of fun and legitimately cool. And if you get a good deal on one, wrap it up, son. And I did do a full review on it. If you want to see more of the features and measure out the trunk and all that fun stuff I normally do, I'll put a link to that in the description. And other than that, I'm going to go home and do some editing. So thank you so much for watching. I hope you have a fantastic day. And always drive safely like me. Bye-bye. I should have ran that. But I drive safely.